Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Tuesday. So today we are going to be talking about a couple things. The main topic here, however, is Milia. And then at the end of this video, I have some suggestions for eye creams that I have personally used. Oh, and here's Penny. I always have to have an assistant. So eye creams that I have used that have not caused me to get Milia. I get a lot of questions about the eye creams that I use. Do they cause Milia? Do they cause any breakouts in that delicate under eye area? And so today I just gathered some of my favorites and I will be sharing those at the end of this video. But before we get into that, I also wanted to just address the topic really quickly of Milia, what they are, what causes them, what's the best way to treat them, even more importantly, how can you prevent them? And just kind of talk a little bit about that because there are a lot of questions about specifically Milia underneath the eyes because that can be a very common place where this condition can present itself on your face. So there's a very decent chance that at one point or another in your life you may have dealt with Milia, either maybe just like one rogue one like on your forehead or on your eyelid, or maybe you have several underneath your eyes. They can be a very frustrating condition because I do think that they should probably be treated professionally. That's just kind of my personal opinion, but we'll talk about that when we get to treatment. First, what are Milia? So basically these are just little keratin bumps underneath your skin. When you actually look at an extracted Milia, they're very interesting because they just look like these round, white, hard, almost like seeds. They're very small actually, and when you see how small they are, you actually kind of wonder how they look so obvious on your face. They're tiny, tiny little collections of keratin. They're actually little cysts essentially. So yeah, I do think that there's probably some kind of a genetic component there, but they can also be caused just by sun damage or the products that you're using. So there's several different reasons that you could potentially be getting them. Babies even have Milia. So for example, when I gave birth to Stella back in 2012, when she was home for the first couple weeks, I started noticing that she was getting these little white bumps all over her face, and I had not had a baby, and so I was like, does my baby have acne? What's happening here? So when I went to one of her doctor's appointments, I asked the doctor, and he was like, oh, they're just Milia. They're totally fine. They're very common in newborns, and the way that you want to treat it is just very gently wash her face and, you know, just use the soap that the baby soap that you're using on her hair and on her body, and just very gently wipe them with soap and water and rinse, and it should go away. And it did. Her skin cleared up actually quite quickly, and obviously she has that beautiful little girl skin now. She doesn't have any Milia on her face. But adults, teenagers, really anyone can get Milia at any stage of their life. For me, I have personally had them underneath my eyes. I've also had them on my eyelid, which is one of the most frustrating places to have one. So yeah, they're just obnoxious. And there's something that can very easily be addressed and treated. And I do know there are people that talk about at-home removal. I'm going to discourage you from doing that only because I really think that anytime that you are doing any kind of major extraction on your face, it's probably best to leave it to a professional for a couple of main reasons. The first one is for sanitary reasons. You really don't want to be poking with a needle in your face and not having that needle be perfectly sanitized or not sanitizing the area around where you're doing that extraction. I just think it can potentially lead to an infection, and you just really don't want to get anywhere near that. And I also think you can potentially cause some scarring. And I mean, you know, do you want to look at a scar instead of a milia? I think it's best to just leave it to a professional. Your dermatologist can very easily extract them. It's very quick actually to do. Or an esthetician. I believe the very first time that I went to go see Penny, she actually extracted a couple rogue ones that I had on my face, but she did it very, very carefully, and you know, my face was sanitized, and she used a fresh lancet, and I mean, it was very easy for her to do. It wasn't even very painful, but it just made me feel so much better to have a professional doing it. And then I also had one, like I said, on my eyelid. And for that one, I did go to a dermatologist because I just figured it's a very sensitive area. You know, even though I saw how Penny did it in office, it wasn't something I was going to attempt, especially near my eye. So go see a professional. I think that you are probably going to get the best results in terms of removal that way. However, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, I'm sure there are lots of videos on YouTube that will show you exactly how to do it at home. In terms of preventing them, really one of the best ways to prevent milia are to stay on top of exfoliating your skin on a regular basis. And I'm talking with chemical exfoliants. So alpha hydroxy acids, glycolic acids, beta hydroxy acids are a great option as well, even around the eye area. So the way that I treat any milia around my eyes, like if I can't go get them extracted or to prevent future ones, is to just take a Q-tip with a little bit of my Paula's Choice BHA. I will also link some great exfoliants down below in the description box as well, just on a Q-tip, and I'll kind of very gently use that in the areas where I can tend to be prone to milia, and not very often. I mean, you don't have to be quite as aggressive in those sensitive, especially eye areas, and that's enough for me to just prevent them now, period. And the eye creams that I'm using are fantastic because they are not contributing to the formation of additional milia. So exfoliating regularly is very important. SPF, protect your skin. You should be protecting your skin anyway, but it's actually been shown that wearing sunscreen can also help prevent the formation of milia. And then also making sure, again, that the products that you're using are not causing the milia in the first place. Very heavy, occlusive, especially eye creams, can lead to the path of having those bumps right underneath your eye area, and you know, potentially having to go and have a bunch of them removed. And that's such a sensitive area. So the best thing to do is just to take very good care of your skin, keep it exfoliated and clean, use your sunscreen, and use the right products, especially for your skin type. So it's very easy to prevent them, to treat them, and just to keep your skin looking its best overall. So milia can be very frustrating, but you know, they're not the worst skin condition to have because they're usually pretty easy to resolve. And again, if you're on a good skincare regimen, you know, you can keep them from forming in the first place. Another thing that I learned is actually using a retinol or a tretinoin can also help with the prevention of milia. And I have noticed since switching over specifically to tretinoin that I haven't dealt with any milia anywhere else on my face. I'm just kind of taking a quick peek right now, but I haven't noticed anywhere. I don't use my tretinoin underneath my eyes. Ooh, that would be frightening. But I do actually, one of my suggestions is for an eye serum that has some retinol in it. So, but we'll talk about that here in a second. So, but yeah, a retinol can definitely be effective in not only treating, but also helping to prevent future Milia as well. Okay, so eye creams, let's talk about those. Here's the thing, you don't necessarily need a separate eye cream. I tend to like buying them because, I don't know, I'm a sucker for skincare and I like trying new things, and I don't mind spending money on stuff like this. I don't buy expensive purses. I drive a Dodge Grand Caravan. I blow my fun money on skincare and makeup and home fragrance. That's my thing. So for me, an eye cream is definitely not necessary. I could use a lot of the moisturizers that I use on my face, especially because they tend to be a little bit more lightweight because of my oily skin type. I can use those underneath my eye if I wanted to, but I personally just like having a separate eye cream, and I know a lot of you guys do as well, but it's not a necessity. So don't let anyone tell you that you have to go buy an eye cream. You don't have to do that. So my suggestions here today are mostly higher end eye creams, and you guys know that I tend to go for higher end skincare products. I do have one more affordable option here as well, so there will be at least one affordable suggestion here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and dive in. I'm gonna start with my basically all-time favorite eye cream. This one is fantastic because it has both a gel and a cream consistency. It's kind of swirled together. You know this product well. It is the hyaluronic tripeptide gel cream for eyes from Rakuten. Oh, this is a delightful eye cream. You can see there is both a gel as well as a cream in here. So when you get it out, and here's another tip, definitely use this ring finger to apply. So what I will do is just slightly warm the eye cream up between my fingers and then pat underneath the eye area. I'm not going to right now because the makeup's already done for the day and I don't want to disrupt it. So, but anyway, you just tap that in very gently, and this one is definitely my favorite because it is super, super hydrating, but it's also a nice thinner consistency. So it helps reduce the look of fine lines and wrinkles by moisturizing and hydrating that delicate under eye area. And it helps that area just look a lot younger, I find, than not using an eye cream. So, I think the earlier you start with eye creams, kind of the better, or just the earlier you start with skincare, the better, period. But, especially with eye creams, the idea is just to bring some extra hydration, which is going to help offset, wrinkles and all that kind of stuff. So starting with an eye cream when you're younger, I feel like is a good thing. I will definitely encourage Stella to use one, probably when she's in her 20s. I think in her teenage years, she'll be fine with a very basic skincare routine. Hopefully she doesn't deal with too many breakouts, but I don't know. Both Craig and I did break out when we were teenagers, so I have a feeling she's gonna be dealing with some skin issues here and there, but you can rest assured that Mama will get her set up with a good skincare routine that will get her through those tough teen years, and then in her 20s, we'll get her set up with a nice kind of preventative anti-aging routine, which I think is a good thing to start in your 20s. So that is definitely my favorite. Another favorite that I have discovered that I am just about done with, I mean, you can see the little plastic part is all the way at the top, so I am dreading finishing this because I have been loving this. Now this one is really expensive. Most of these are pretty spendy. I'm just gonna say that right now. I will link them all down below. The Murad Renewing Eye Cream is one of the nicest hydrating, more emollient cream type eye creams that I have that doesn't cause milia at all. I have been using this faithfully for several months now, and I am just so impressed with how my under eye area looks. The little fine lines that are kind of starting to want to form, especially by my lash line, are just so diminished. And I love the way that this glides onto my skin. I've been using it pretty much morning and night. It's fantastic. I have been alternating it with another product that I'm going to tell you about here in a second. But this, I give most of the credit to how great this area looks right now to this. So these are going to be go-tos for me for a long time to come. Certainly, I'll be trying new things because it is what I do, but Those two are by far some of my favorites. Another eye cream that I've loved for a really long time, and this is from Eminence. Eminence is, they're an organic skincare company. They're used in a lot of spas. This is their Wild Plum eye cream. This is the largest eye cream that I have ever purchased. There is 1.05 fluid ounces in here. Most eye creams that you're gonna get are, I believe, 0.5 fluid ounces. That's what I think. Yep, this was 0.5 fluid ounces. This one here is 0.5 fluid ounces and 0.5 half an ounce again. So this one's huge. It's really good though, you guys. The Wild Plum eye cream is a slightly thinner consistency. That's quite a bit there. You really only need like a quarter of a pump when it comes to these. Again, it is such a nice hydrating eye cream that just absorbs very quickly into the skin and provides that burst of moisture and hydration, and it just makes the under eye area look refreshed and just so much more youthful. This one is another favorite that I definitely see myself repurchasing, especially given that it is a much larger size. And I think this one is, if it's not around the same price as these two, it might potentially even be a little bit less. Again, I'm gonna link all this stuff down below. A great option here from Saturday Skin that is also, I would say, a little bit more on the affordable end of the spectrum is the Wide Awake Brightening Eye Cream. And this one's fantastic because this one does provide some really nice brightening for the under eye area. This one has a more gel-like consistency to it, absorbs very quickly. Very hydrating, very almost emollient feeling, but just soaks right into that under eye area. And like I said, just kind of brightens everything up with a good surge of moisture as well. So this is a really great option here. The Derma E Firming DMAE Eye Lift is fantastic. Not only does this hydrate, but I do think this firms up that under eye area very nicely. This one, again, has a really nice consistency where it's thick, but it's not occlusive. Like, none of these are eye creams where you're gonna have to wait very long for them to absorb. They absorb very quickly, which is a must for me because I have to be able to get going, especially in the morning. At night, it's not as big of a deal waiting for things to absorb. But in the morning, I gotta get going fast. I mean, even though we're currently stuck at home like everybody else, I still try to get ready as fast as I can and go about my day. This Epionce Renewal Eye Cream here, I have only used a really small sample size. I mean, it's been a good enough amount to help me determine that I would actually like to purchase the full size of this. This has, I think, the most traditional feel of an eye cream. It's a little thicker. This one takes just a little bit longer to absorb, so I like to use this one specifically at night. But it is a nice one. Don't be surprised if you see this in a haul somewhat soon. Well, I don't know about somewhat soon. I certainly have some eye creams to get through here, but I will be purchasing the full size of this because I do like it just based on the sample that I have. And then I have two suggestions for you for eye creams, serums that also have retinol in them. Now, these are obviously specifically formulated for underneath the eye area. I would not recommend taking your retinol that you use on the rest of your face underneath your eye area. I think be very careful with that. If you want to test it out, go ahead, but I would just recommend using products that are specifically designed for that area. So two that I've used that I think work very well are the Dr. Dennis Gross Ferulic Plus Retinol Triple Correction Eye Serum. This is a really nice serum consistency, so you can see that it has like a gel-like texture to it. Very, very nice. You can see that right there. Absorbs extremely quickly. These I only use at night. Anything with a retinol in it, That's a nighttime treatment for me. So I don't use these twice a day. If I use them, it is only at night, and it's not every single night that I use them. So usually maybe 3 nights a week, I will switch out from something like this with the retinol. Does that make sense? So this one's fantastic. Also, there's the Murad Retinol Youth Renewal Eye Serum. This one is very nice as well. Again, it has a little bit more of a gel-like texture to it. Absorbs very, very quickly and leaves the skin hydrated, but it also has those benefits of the retinol, which is going to help with surface cell turnover, which is then going to help prevent and treat those milia that you might have. So those are my eye care suggestions for you. And just a little brief information or synopsis of milia and what causes them, and especially around that delicate eye area. I think that's where most people are prone to milia. If you find yourself getting those bumps frequently in that under eye area, check out the products that you're using. If they're really heavy and occlusive, that might be what is causing your issue. So you might need to switch products. You might need to go have some extractions done. Really, my biggest piece of advice here is just don't do it at home. Don't, especially in this area right here, don't cause any potential scarring. Go see an esthetician. Once everything opens up again, go see an esthetician and have them extracted professionally, just so that you are not left with scarring. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I will put a couple of links to pictures of milia in the description box as well. So go check those out and you can kind of cross-reference and see if what you have under your eye area matches what is in these pictures. And then, you know, probably go see a dermatologist or an esthetician and they can help you deal with the issue. So, all right, please subscribe if you're new, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch today, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.